And these three teams, Tom Haberstroh, these three teams have the best chance of getting him. The very awful Detroit Pistons, the very awful San Antonio Spurs, and the very awful Houston Rockets. So I want him to go to the Pistons. I'd love to see this artistic, gifted player in Detroit, home of so many gifted musicians over the years and talented artists. Where would you like to see Victor Wembanyama wind up?
Yeah, to me, it would be super fun to see Greg Popovich with Victor Wembanyama, and it would justify holding on to the head coaching gig over there in San Antonio, the rebuild. It just would pain me to see that Greg Popovich would hold on and go through the DeJounte Murray era, that seeing Derek White go to the Boston Celtics, basically bottom out over the last couple seasons for like nothing. I don't want to see that. I want to see Pop rewarded. I'm based here in Charlotte. That would also be very cool to see Michael Jordan, as he departs as an owner, bring in Victor Wembanyama. But they've had some lottery bad luck when we talk about Michael Kidd-Gilchrist at number 2 instead of Anthony Davis. A lot of people in Charlotte are dreading tonight because they just feel like Lady Luck is never going to bless them. And we saw what happened after they got Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. It is a big drop from 1 to 2. And I think this year it is as big a drop from 1 to 2. Even though there's a lot of hype with Scoot Henderson, I really do believe that Victor Wembanyama is the best prospect since LeBron. And I want to see what Pop can do with Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah. I think San Antonio offers the best structure, and coach, obviously. But I also, like with Holly, it would be such a great thing for Detroit. It's like I'm thinking about the cities. And then Houston has the history, of a big man before. So, it's like for the cities, the people in those cities, I like him going to any of the 3 teams, but I do think in terms of his development and flourishing and knowing you're going to a stable structure, the Spurs are probably the best place for him to land.
I'm thinking, Stro, I wonder, and Stro, you're frozen a little bit right now, but I wonder if if you can still hear us. There you go.
I was just.
You're enraptured with Natalie's comments. I could see it. You weren't frozen. You're just like, oh my God.
I do have that.
But I wonder, you say, all right, best prospect since LeBron in 2003. And LeBron went to a really bad Cleveland team. I think they had won 17 games a year before. Then they get to the 30s. And then they didn't make the playoffs. Next year, they win something like 40-some games, still didn't make the playoffs. I think it was year 3 before they made the playoffs. I know we're thinking ahead. These are all bad teams. What is the effect? Yep. Can you see these teams being in the playoffs like in 2 years? Is he that kind of guy where we know the individual talent, but is he such a prospect? Is he so generationally gifted that he comes to your team and you can expect to compete for championships for the next decade?
I think if Victor Wembanyama went to any team in the NBA, they're going to make the playoffs next year. Any team.
Wow.
Any team. San Antonio, Detroit, Houston, especially with the coaching that they have in Houston and in San Antonio. And keep in mind, like, this dude is averaging over 3 blocks a game and is averaging basically 10% of every shot that is taken on the floor with Victor Wembanyama on the floor. 10% of those shots are being blocked by Victor Wembanyama. So we look at his offensive gifts, the fact that he's able to take a 3-pointer and dunk the putback on the same play. On the other end of the floor, he might have the most upside. So it's one thing to be Luka Doncic or LeBron James and be an offensive virtuoso from day one. It's another thing to be a defensive impact player from the moment you step onto the floor. And I think a guy who's 7'5", by the way, Holly, and I think we're getting confirmation what his actual height is, because for the longest time he was 7'3", then he was 7'4". Is he 7'5"? But Brian Windhurst, my guy at ESPN, in his profile this week, he said he was 7'5". So I'm going with 7'5". And I got to say, wouldn't it be crazy if the Oklahoma City Thunder got Victor Wembanyama to pair him next to Chet Holmgren, next to J-Dub, next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? That would be, I think, in terms of all the teams in the lottery, that would be the most high upside. Like day one, they're a championship contender if he gets to OKC.
They don't deserve that.
The skinny guys social club right there. Like all them like pairing up together. You talk about the height changing from 7'3", 7'4", 7'5". Reminds me of that old line from Red Auerbach where they would measure players in their socks. And Red Auerbach would be like, well, who the hell plays basketball in their socks? measuring them in their sneakers. That's what the official height. I don't care how tall you are in your socks. How tall are you when you put the shoes on? All right, let me switch gears because Tom, I know you spent a lot of time, covering the Miami Heat and keeping up with them. And I probably have read 75 Pat Riley profiles. I'm always down for number 76. I can't get enough of the Pat Riley stories, whether it's quoting generals, quoting poets, or some of the crazy stuff he has challenged his players and assistant coaches to do. What is it? What is it about the Miami Heat in the conference finals? I want every part of my being wants to dismiss them. I want to say Celtics in 5. I'm going to say Celtics in 5. It's probably not going to be Celtics in 5. What is it about the Miami Heat that I'm missing, that we all miss, and they wind up in this position once again? What is it? Tell me the secret.
They do the work. I mean, you can say what you want about South Beach mentality and the idea that it's a vacation spot. And believe me, when I went down there to Miami to cover that 2010 team, they did their preseason training camp at a military base. That is what we're talking about here. For all of what we talk about, like the late showing audience, that first row is always late at halftime. That's about the clubs in the arena. That's not about the Miami Heat, the actual players. Playoff Jimmy, Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry was on his way out of the NBA a few months ago. We were ready to bury that dude's NBA career, and now he's a pivotal impact player against the New York Knicks and in the previous series against Milwaukee Bucks. Like this team, they got 16-game players. Draymond Green said it best. There's 82-game players and there's 16-game players. It takes 16 wins to win a championship, and those guys are on the Miami Heat's roster. You say Boston Celtics in 5. I cannot bet against playoff Jimmy. This dude is unbelievable what he does to step up his game and raise the tide of everybody else around him. I'm sticking with the Miami Heat beating the Boston Celtics here in this upcoming conference finals. He called it last year. When they got bounced in the conference finals, he said, we will be back and we will win next time. And beyond all reasonable doubt, he did it. Jimmy Butler back on the stage. I am not betting against that dude to lose in this series.
I like it.
Yeah. Wow. That prediction does shock me a little bit. How many games do you have them winning in, did you say?
I got Heat in 6. They're not going to be Heat in 7. Not going to be Heat in 5. Just like it was Knicks. Just like it was Knicks Heat part 6. It's going to be Heat in 6. Look, man, like this series is going to come down to who's going to hit their shots. We saw Jason Tatum do absolutely lay an egg. 7 points there at point in the series and then drop 51. The inconsistency of the Boston Celtics offense with the rookie head coach. I just feel like Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat have a lot of veteran leadership on that team, on the sidelines, upstairs. And I think they have a better surrounding core than what we saw last year. So I think the Miami Heat do it. They shock the world and get to the NBA Finals.
Well, hold on, Spo. I mean, hold on, Stro. I was about to call you Spo. I was about to call you Spo. Right. Listen, man. How's the supporting cast better than last year? You have Hero out.
Yeah.
You got Duncan Robinson back. You got Gabe Vincent back. You got Lowry back. Like Kevin Love. I mean, what's better? What's better than last year?
Well, first of all, Tyler Hero got hurt last year's series too, so they didn't get all of Tyler Hero. He was hurt in the series, and then also you throw in the fact that Kyle Lowry's playing the way he has been. And Gabe Vincent has been outrageously good for a guy who was not drafted. He's playing playoff rotation player and above in this postseason. I think also Kevin Love does bring that kind of veteran leadership and the rebounding that can hurt the Celtics and the spacing. And I think just in general, when you talk about the Miami Heat, they had a really tough time shooting the ball in the regular season, bottom 5 in 3-point field goal percentage. But they've done a really good job. You saw it against the Milwaukee Bucks, spacing the floor and being able to handle Giannis Antetokounmpo with multiple bodies and limiting his scoring opportunities. I think Jason Tatum is in for a rude awakening after what we saw against the Philadelphia 76ers. Now that he's going to go up against Jimmy Butler and that defense, Bam Adebayo, I think it's going to be a really rough series for the Boston Celtics. I think Heat are going to pull it off.
Tom, who is the best player in the series? Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, Jimmy Butler. Playoff Jimmy Butler.
Stop
if you're talking about regular season?
Stop. No, he's not. No, he's about player.
In this
player.
series.
Period.
In this series,
Who's the
you
best
think
player?
Jimmy Butler is the best player?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Okay.
Playoff Jimmy.
This is.
You said a lot, Tom. I'm still trying to process it. Okay.
Tom. Natalie, can I just say, this is what bothers me. I want the Jimmy Butler treatment in my life. And this is the equivalent of the Jimmy Butler treatment. You remember all the good things I've done, all the good things I've said, all the stupid things I've done, all the screw-ups, go away. Nobody ever talks about it. So we talk about Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, but there have been 9 for 24s.
Yes.
There have been 6 turnovers. He has not won a damn thing in his whole career, but we still talk about playoff Jimmy as if he's won something. It's crazy.
Jason Tatum
he gets more grace than anybody. He gets more grace than anybody in the NBA.
I wouldn't say, well,
come on.
Jason Tatum, what he just did in Game 7 was spectacular. He went into Giannis's building last year and showed up. I mean, he has those games where he shows up. This dismissiveness of him.
Go ahead,
Jimmy
Go
Butler
ahead.
leads
Final
all
word.
scores in the postseason. Jimmy Butler leads all scores this postseason, 31 points a game. I do believe, I didn't say Jason Tatum, I said Jimmy Butler leads all scores in the postseason.
And that means he's better than them?
Ooh. All right, you walk off. That's a good walk-off, Stro. Good to see you, baby. Thanks for the
better
time.
than Jokic then. I guess he's better than Jokic because he leads all
back.
scorers.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.